Hi guys, welcome to yet another video from Overbite Gaming, and today we are discussing games. Should they come out ready or should they fix them after they've come out?
Well, you've answered the question already, haven't you? Like, of course they should.
But they don't.
Yeah, it is quite a thing of the times right now that games have been released in a sorry state, and then depending on the publishers and the developers, different things happen. Some get fixed, some don't get fixed.
They become abandoned, and sadly we'll never ever see Shepard again.
Yeah, so that's referring to Mass Effect Andromeda. EA is well known for just trying to make money instead of making people happy.
Yes, let's cancel that amazing Star Wars / Uncharted game that was going to be fucking amazing because we can't monetize it very well. No!
Calm down. Or we could just purchase a studio and then shut it down before they make a decent sequel to
Dante's Inferno.
That would have been good.
Yes.
Apparently it would have been like fighting angels and shit. That would have been good. Anyway, that's by the by. We're talking about games that come out.
Do you think
of the
their wings
state.
would preclude them from doing up their bra?
Probably.
Oh, you bastards, EA!
But thinking about games and recent games that have been released and then kind of revamped at no cost to the consumer. Stuff we need to be commending and saying well done to the guys for doing so. We recently released a review on the new update to No Man's Sky, so please go check out that review. It's not there, Lee.
Oh, sorry.
But check that out because that's another example of a company who, let's face it, completely lied to the public and said what this game was going to be. It wasn't. So your first point, it was released in a bad state. Boo. But then they fixed it at no cost. Yay.
A year later.
2 years.
2 years later.
It felt like about 10. But it's a case where they haven't charged anything for it. It's just been done as like a firmware upgrade of the game. It's just a load of new stuff and a load of updates to how the game works. And it's been received pretty well.
Yeah, compare that to something sort of mid-ground like the Arkham Knight PC port.
Yeah.
Which basically got a huge backlash when it came out because it didn't fucking work.
Locked at 30 frames per second.
Mm-hmm. And would never even reach that most of the time. So what they did was they did a little damage. Oh yeah, we got a team working around the clock on it, blah, 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 blah. Deployed a few patches.
Not anymore.
And yeah, they were just like, yeah, close enough.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
You can play it now. So.
Yeah. So you do get this different, and I think maybe that was slightly before the current trend that's happened, where you have a lot of games like Rainbow Six Siege was kind of considered, not very good or average. They revamped it, changed things, put some time back in. So Ubisoft then released. I think it was Ubisoft, wasn't it? Rainbow
Yes,
Six Siege?
it is. Yeah.
Then they released this game again, or not released it again, but they gave the upgrades that made it almost a different experience to a lot of people. And it's a mainstay for a lot of Twitch streamers now.
It's also a very strange Ubisoft game because it doesn't have an awful lot of the hallmarks of a Ubisoft game.
Yeah, that's, again, a different video.
It's one I've already made, in fact.
Yes. But also we have The Division. It's had the same treatment from Ubisoft.
That one, yep.
Yes.
Yes, I'm showing my support of Ubisoft there.
And also Assassin's Creed. No, Assassin's Creed never had that. They just brought out a new game the next year.
Well, no, they took a year off, didn't they, for the latest one? And
yeah, but before that, they just used to go, oh, it's broken. Like, Unity's broken.
There'll be another one along soon. We won't worry about that.
Unity was fucking broken when it came out. It was the most broken game I've ever seen.
Yeah, their stocks plummeted.
They didn't plummet. They went down 9%.
It's plummeting.
They decimated.
I like that word better.
So basically, the game that sparked this in my head recently was No Man's Sky, because that game was in a horrible, barren, useless state. Wasn't a great experience, but they've come back and created something that's pretty good, and fixing it on the way has meant that the enjoyment factor is through the roof now compared to as it was.
Yeah.
But the question I wanted to have with you guys, and a bit of a discussion, we both want to have this discussion with you.
Just remember, I'm right.
That's not how discussion works, Lee.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. This is an argument now. This isn't a discussion.
It's not an argument because I'm right. Shut up.
We want to have a discussion about kind of your theories or feelings about should we be thankful that they're fixing games, or should we be more stringent and angry that they're bringing out games that are in a bad state?
And you get people that say, oh, well, back in the day, you didn't have the internet and you couldn't patch these things, No, you just got an unfinished game that didn't actually work when you bought it.
And guess what? There was nothing to fix it.
No.
So they had to bring out a game that worked.
Well, no, they didn't all the time.
Well, if they didn't, then that particular business would fall under who was publishing that game or whatever.
Not all the time, they didn't.
If they were big enough to survive, they'd be alright.
When you're paying like £6.99 for a cassette off the front of a newsagents, it's kind of like, okay. Well, that was tough money, never mind.
Yeah, but now games aren't games, are they? They're services.
Services, I hate that. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm not signing up to a fucking car loan agreement, for fuck's sake. I just want to shoot things in the face.
You kind of are, though.
Well, you are signing up to a contract, yes.
At least.
Yeah, it's the lease of the game, but it's still just... I hate that, because service implies something that's ongoing, and it's always trying to monetize. It's always like, okay, well, you've bought the game, we can sell you this, but like for a little bit more money we can sell you this as well, and some of this, and if you want to pay monthly, we can sell you this like every month, and you'll get this every month. How cool would that be? Think of the advantage you'll get when you're shooting stormtroopers in the fucking faces if you've got some form of subscription that is...
Calm.
Sorry.
Calm. See, again, that's how we tweak the emotions.
It's like fucking mobile games, but I've paid £60 for it. It's true.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing with you at all, mate. That's exactly true. But in those games, like, let's face it, in EA, the case of Battlefront 2, it was a game that fundamentally how it played, I don't believe it was broken, was it?
No.
It was the practices around it that were broken, not the game
you
itself.
could say the progression system was broken.
Okay, that was because
At
that was
the point.
linked to the monetization.
Yes.
But they did try and fix it though, Lee.
Well, they've taken monetization out of it entirely now.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Because at the time they took it away and then said, "Oh, you don't have to get as much credit to do this next stage."
Yeah,
And
they
it was
basically removed the option to purchase crates. That basically went on day one.
and then they just upped the amount of XP you needed to get it or something.
Yeah, they were
Or
like,
halved what you get from missions and stuff like that.
yeah, they just balanced
Sneaky. But I'm talking about when games like No Man's Sky or the Division, which are kind of like not quite hitting the mark.
Couldn't press the button on the computer. Just saying, on the Division.
Couldn't press the button on the computer.
Because people were in the way, so you couldn't get to the
Oh
computer.
yeah, we did a
Remember
skit
that?
about that. Yeah, that's funny.
I thought, I got an hour this morning. I'll have a quick go on it before I go to work. I can't press. I go to work.
But I just find it a funny thing that we can accept a game in that's broken. So
Well, you do it from Bethesda all the time.
yeah, that's a very good point actually. Bethesda are culprits of this really badly, but we let them off.
Well, we shouldn't.
We shouldn't, but we
Bethesda
do.
are absolutely turning out to be a piece of shit company.
Mm.
Because of lately we had some guy that was trying to resell his copy of
It's wrapped.
his
Not
wrapped,
opened.
not open copy of Evil Within, I think it was. And they were like, no, you got to take that down, otherwise we'll take legal action because you should describe that as new. It's not new. You're like, fucking chill out, you sons of bitches.
For me, it's a lot like the attitudes from Nintendo about Twitch and streaming and using their gaming content. in
Well,
videos.
Nintendo do have the crutch of saying, oh, they're a Japanese company, they don't really understand.
And that's not an excuse.
I know. They have Nintendo of America with Reggie Fusame.
You could say the same thing about Witcher 3 developers, CD Projekt Red. They're Polish, aren't they?
Yes, they're Polish.
So, they won't understand because they're Polish. It just doesn't wash. Sorry.
Truth.
So, Bethesda need to fucking sort themselves out. Obviously, from wise old men like us.
Yeah, every game they release is fucking broken.
It's always broken, but for some reason we still have fun with it.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
Skyrim has been released 17 times.
Oh god, yeah, I bought most of them.
Different stages of their corrected modes. But they never released the most corrected mode on the new one.
VR.
Like, was it on? Did they when they went on Switch? That was the base level
Yep.
edition that wasn't like fixed in a number of
It
places.
still has like some of the bugs that were present in the base game.
But all of this discussion, guys, this is all around the same sort of point. That when you're handing over your hard-earned cash for a game to have fun with, but how do you feel about like paying money for broken goods? Like, I mean, for some of us, we can maybe brush it off, but other people have been saving up for ages to actually purchase that game. I think it's disgusting when you have a company that doesn't try and fix it, because they should be fixing it for the customer.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's broken, not like, oh yeah, well we can't afford to do that now, we need to move on. It's not good enough. If anybody did that in any other service industry, or any other industry where you're buying stuff from somebody, if I went into the local supermarket and I bought a bag of apples and 5 out of 6 of them were rotten, right, I could take them back and get 6 good apples at no additional cost to me. Why are we doing this now?
It feels like it was appropriate. I just got like patriotic music going in the background in my brain.
Maybe I'll put that on. But yeah, so like you wouldn't expect it in any other area of your life. If you bought something with money, aside from what, here's money, and I get some rotten apples back, I'm not going to be happy about that, and I want some proper apples that are not rotten.
I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to is if you don't want it to be a product, you want it to be a service, you need to provide support for that service.
Oh, good point.
Come at me, bitches.
Good point. Hold him back. But that's a very good point, because they can turn it off at any point.
Yeah, exactly.
And say, no, we're not supporting that anymore.
I mean, we've had so many games that we can't play anymore, like City of Heroes, Hellgate London, stuff like that. You can't play them anymore because they turned the service off. So that was a service, yes, because we can't play anymore, even though we've actually still got the game. So if you're not going to say like, well, here's your game, you've paid your money, there you go, fuck off, we don't want anything more to do with you. Right? That's one thing, that's you buying a game. But if you're like, oh no, it's a service, we need to be able to support you all the time, well, make sure the fucking game works then. I mean, why wouldn't you? If we want the continued support, the continued relationship with your customer, you need to support that customer and that game.
And you won't be surprised to know that I'm going to now mention Warframe.
I am unshocked by this revelation.
But that shows how you can have a service in terms of a game. And
whilst I think the game is trash, I will agree with that.
It's not trash.
It's trash.
It's not trash.
Trash.
It's not trash.
It's super trash.
It's not trash.
Trash.
Not trash. It's not trash.
Space Ninja.
Thank you. So what I mean by wanting to bring that the developers' digital extremes in is the fact that they are consistently communicating with their fan base, and they're listening to problems that the players are experiencing, and they are actively fixing those problems on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, I mean, you can say the same for Hello Games. I mean, the problems were communicated to them tied to bricks that went through their windows.
That is true.
But they have listened to all of the criticism, and they have worked really hard to make the game at least what it should have been on release.
And one of the things we touched on in our actual re-review of No Man's Sky was, should we be saying congrats for fixing, or should we be like still angry that they fucked up the first time? And I still feel kind of, I'd feel bad for bashing them now, but we still should be bashing them for doing what they did. So it's kind of like two separate incidents for me. It's like, you did a game that was really, really bad. It wasn't received very well, didn't work properly. It wasn't what you said it was going to be. You lied to us. But now you've actually done a good thing that I think is separate. After 2 years, you brought the game back at expense to yourselves to make sure that people are enjoying the game again. So commend that. Still be angry about that and make sure that doesn't happen again. But it's kind of difficult how to feel about them.
I think it's because there was such a long gap between the two.
And silence as well.
And silence. So basically you had people that spent a lot of money on this game. I wasn't one of them, I had it bought for me. Yes. And then like 2 years goes by and now the game is playable. And you're like, I bought this fucking game 2 years ago. I've got other games to play now. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, but as I said, it's a game that's probably worth playing now. But I think all of these games we're mentioning, like The Division and Rainbow Six Siege and No Man's Sky and Warframe, they're all worth playing.
Mass Effect Andromeda.
I've lost
your
my
fingers,
thumb. Yeah. It's there's a lot of games that's happening too, but I think people are starting to understand the importance of community and the importance of players playing the game and enjoying the game and being involved in it, and their fandom of it or appreciation of it spilling out into additional purchases or merchandise, or just support if you want to do something else in the future as a company. There's a little bit more confidence that what they'll do is a good job.
Yeah, I think some of the mentalities, particularly on the companies that want to introduce games as a service, they don't see themselves as putting out the game. They're seeing themselves as
Products, yeah.
No, they're seeing they're putting out the framework for a game, which you then need to purchase things to fill in.
Yeah, that's also a good point.
I've got so many of them today.
Yeah, but it's a big, wide-ranging subject, and I think with that kind of thing, the reason I sort of interjected with product is that I don't think the people that are involved in those decisions are in any way gamers.
No, they're
not thinking as gamers. They're thinking of as businessmen and businesswomen.
They want to fill 80% of your view before causing seizures.
Ready Player One reference.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot of people or decisions you keep seeing. You think that's not been made by somebody who enjoys playing games. That's someone making money, and I think that's when every gamer goes, that stings. I don't like that.
Yeah, the trouble is, it's like the developers are usually the people that are gamers as well, though. They've gone into that job.
But they're not the ones making those decisions, are they?
No, and that's the problem. You just think that the studios have so much control over the developers that the developers can't actually do their jobs, or at least not well.
Well, they're being pushed in the wrong directions. I mean, if you get somebody that has lots of money and lots of time...
I mean, if they go, say EA goes to one of their subsidiary studios and say, look, we want that game out in a month, and the studio goes, it's going to be a big pile of shit that's broken if we do that. And they say, oh no, put it out in a month anyway. So then they're in the position where they have to put that out, they have to get their image besmirched, and then the studio will come back to them and say, that was a big bag of shit, fix it. And they'll be like, what do you want?
Oh, well, I want you to close. Because
clearly
we've
you're
bought
rubbish.
You and we want to offload some debt into your company and close you down so we can have less debt.
Alright.
Yeah, it's all EA does. They're a bunch of bag fucking dicks.
It never used to be that way.
They used to be quite looked after. Fans used to like EA games. Not anymore. Not anymore.
EA Sports. Big.
It's in the game.
Yeah. It's always like, well, waste of money if it's not. It turns out it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to make this video to kind of get this all of our thoughts out there and things off our chest. I really want to know what you guys think and feel about this topic, because I think it's a big one. It's a big topic, isn't it?
Kimasavi. I hear the rumble of EA hate coming.
Cool. Excellent. Let's bottle that and then throw it through their window.
Let them melt their carpets.
They probably would. They'd be immune to it, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would sup on that like their mother's teat.
I bet there's some EA executive sat right now with his feet up on his desk watching this video, stoking on a big old stubby cigar,
slapping babies,
shooting puppies in the face.
Oh, bastard.
Yep.
I was okay with the baby thing.
Drinking swan milk or something.
Or almond milk.
Hold on, swans don't lactate, do they? Because they lay eggs.
I really never tried to milk a swan, if I'm honest. I should ask the queen. All the swans are hers.
Well, it's a bird, so it lays an egg, so it doesn't lactate. But that's how rich they are. They can make a swan lactate.
Well, they could milk the puppies.
I don't know where this video's going anymore. If you've got this far, please put down in the comments lactating swan, just so we know.
Oh god.
But yeah, to draw a line on this video, thanks for watching, guys, because I want to hear your thoughts, but not about swans, but the whole topic. But do not forget, we have videos out every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, and so check back then for some awesome content.
Yeah, and if you have enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing down below, leave us a comment and possibly a like, and
ding-a-ling
that bell, and you may or may not receive notifications about our future releases.
We are providing this gaming service, and
you are required to pay a monthly fee.
But guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you again soon.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye.